Imagine a project so big, so ambitious, it's being called AI's Manhattan Project. But here's the twist. Instead of building a weapon, the goal is to completely rewire the very engine of scientific discovery. This is the story of the Genesis mission. You're going to want to remember this date because on November 24th, 2025, the United States quietly kicked off a program that aims to fundamentally change the pace of human progress. Yeah, we might look back on this as the day a new age truly began. And let's just get one thing straight right away. This has absolutely nothing to do with that old NASA space probe from back in 2001. No, no, no. We're talking about something so much more radical. This is an attempt to build a whole new kind of intelligence, and on a national scale. So what is it exactly? Well, people are calling it America's new Manhattan Project. It's a massive all-in bet that AI can solve our biggest problems and, secure the US's spot at the very top of the scientific world. At its very core, the Genesis mission is basically a national AI-driven scientific operating system. I want you to think of it like a self-improving engine for knowledge. Its whole purpose is to compress the timeline of discovery from, say, decades down to just a few months. The ambition here is just breathtaking. And the potential is just off the charts. Some people really believe this could be the moment science stops being a purely human thing and becomes, well, a cybernetic superorganism. I mean, just think about that for a second. Human and machine intelligence, all merging together to accelerate discovery in ways we can't even imagine. So why do we even need something this extreme? Well, it all boils down to this huge problem we're facing in science today. It's this paradox, known as slow science. This chart really gets to the heart of it. For decades now, we've been pouring more and more money into research. But here's the weird part. The time and the money it takes for each major breakthrough just keep going up, while the number of those game-changing discoveries is actually going down. We're literally spending more to discover less. So, how is Genesis supposed to break us out of this rut? With something called a closed-loop discovery engine. It's pretty cool. It starts with AI models generating millions of ideas. The best of those ideas get simulated on supercomputers. Then, robotic labs run the actual experiments. And finally, this is the key, the AI learns from the results in real time and starts the whole cycle over again. Only this time, it's smarter. It is a non-stop, self-improving engine of discovery. Now, of course, something this big doesn't happen in a vacuum. This whole mission is also a direct shot in a new global competition, what some people are starting to call the new algorithmic Cold War. Here's the core idea. The 20th century was all about who controlled the oil. The 21st century, it's going to be decided by who controls the intelligence layer of energy. The nation that masters AI-driven energy systems, everything from fusion reactors to smart grids, is pretty much going to write the rules for the rest of us. And this table really lays out the two competing strategies. You've got the US with Genesis, trying to totally reinvent the process from the ground up, playing to its strengths in supercomputing and AI models. Then you have China, which is playing a totally different game, using its massive state-controlled power to dominate the entire supply chain from rare earth minerals all the way to battery manufacturing. It is a fundamental clash of strategies. And you can already see the new battlefields taking shape. You've got fusion nationalism, this crazy high-stakes race for limitless clean energy. There's the struggle for control over rare earth minerals, which are basically the choke point for all of our modern tech. And then there's the push for AI-powered smart grids, which could create an energy infrastructure that's almost impossible to take down. But look, moving this fast, with this much power, it comes with some huge risks. The very same system that could cure cancer could also create dangers that we have never ever seen before. This really gets to the core dilemma of Genesis. I mean, the promise is incredible, right? Limitless energy, eradicating diseases, a total revolution in manufacturing. But the risks are just as big. What happens when an AI's ethics start to drift in ways we can't predict? Or what if hidden biases in the code send science down a really dangerous path? This kicks off a huge legal crisis. I mean, think about it. If an AI system discovers a life-saving new drug, who gets the patent? The whole legal system is built for human inventors. It is completely unprepared for this. Can a machine actually own an idea? And the questions just get bigger and bigger from there. We have systems for governing land and money, but who governs a national synthetic intelligence? Is it a public utility? A national security asset? all of a sudden, the rules of science are slamming right into the rules of code. This whole thing forces us to ask a really deep question about what we actually value. AI is designed to find answers as efficiently as possible. But isn't science also about curiosity, about those happy accidents, the thrill of the unknown? It really makes you wonder, are we optimizing for faster answers at the expense of asking deeper questions? So, in this new world, what does all this mean for the human at the center of it all? Let's take a look at how this completely redefines what it even means to be a scientist. You know that old image of the lone genius in a lab coat having a eureka moment? Yep, that's gone. In the Genesis reality, the scientist isn't just running experiments anymore. They're more like an orchestra conductor for intelligent systems, an architect designing the process of discovery. And maybe most importantly, they become the philosopher in the loop, the one who guides the machine's search for knowledge. This new role could eventually become something people are calling a cognitive custodian, and their job won't just be to discover new stuff, but to actively manage and safeguard the relationship between our human knowledge and these incredibly powerful machine minds. So you can see this fundamental shift in purpose. In the age of AI, the scientist isn't just a seeker of truth anymore. They also have to be a guardian of meaning, making sure that what we discover actually serves humanity in a wise way. And that leaves us with one final haunting question. In a world where AI drives our energy, our security, our medicine, and even our science, the ultimate power isn't about who has oil or armies anymore. It all boils down to this: who trains the intelligence that powers the world?